Hey, David, what's going on?
Hey, brother, man. I literally just told you yesterday, man. I like your content, man. A little bit controversial for me, but I dig it, man. You're doing a good job for one. So,
I appreciate your compliment, David. If you don't mind me asking you this, what do you think I say that is like controversial? Like in your opinion,
uh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, yeah, just like, well, I mean, to keep it a buck, I'm from Chicago. I'm a black man, born and
Okay.
raised.
Gotcha.
I grew up my whole life Democrat, man, and then when 2020 happened during the coronavirus, I had all this time and I started doing research and stuff, and I
Yeah.
just totally lost all faith in the Democratic Party, like completely.
You lost all
Like, I
faith in
felt
the
like,
you lost all faith in the Demo. So who are you voting for?
I mean, right now, man, Trump, man, like, I mean, honestly, like,
Do you think Trump is fit for office?
well, how do you personally define fit?
I personally define fit somebody that's not a convicted felon, somebody that's not a liable sexual abuser, somebody that didn't incite an insurrection, somebody personally in the only president in the history of this country that has still not conceded the 2020 election. Those are just a few. I could name you many more.
Why is it so important that he concedes to it, though?
Because
All
we
the time. Why is that
because
so
we have
important?
something because good question, sure, because we have something called a democracy, and we had something called January 6th. And when you have somebody who lies about an election, unfortunately there are going to be gullible people in this country that are going to believe what he says, and then they're not going to have confidence in our elections. Make no mistake about it. Joe Biden was a free and fair elected president. How do we know this? Because there's no evidence proven of widespread voter fraud that could have changed the outcome of the election. I'm shocked, sir, with all due respect, that that doesn't bother you.
No, it does, but at the same time, the Democratic Party bothers me as well. Like, Obama was, like, bombing all these, like, drone strikes irresponsibly, but, I mean, I get it, though, at the same time, with respect. And then Kamala Harris, like, literally, still to the day right now, has two of my friends locked up, and she was in the courtroom, like, proud of it. You know what I'm saying?
What did your
For
friends
petty
do?
weed charges.
What did your friends do?
No, the ounce of weed in California.
So they just were smoking a joint?
No, they weren't smoking that.
So what did they do? When you say marijuana, does that mean they were growing marijuana in their backyard and made
No,
millions
they
of
had
dollars?
possession. They were in the car. They had possession. They got pulled over, and then they got arrested, and then
Okay, so they were
prosecuted.
so they were driving under the influence of marijuana. Is that a fair characterization?
No, they weren't smoking. They weren't smoking. They had it on them, like
Okay, so
carrying
you're
it from one
telling
place
me.
to another.
Okay, so hold on. Let me backtrack. So you're telling me your
No, go ahead.
friends are in jail right now only because they had some joints in their car?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
man.
I don't believe that. Did they have any priors? I'm sorry, sir. With all due respect, I don't believe you. Did they have any priors?
Yeah, they did, but they were non-violent, like priors. They were
Okay, were they on probation?
Oh, that's a good. I don't believe so.
So
I
you
don't
don't
believe
so you don't know if they were on probation. You're not sure what their priors were. Okay, we can move on from that. So you have a personal vendetta with Kamala Harris because a couple of your friends, even though you don't know all the details in the case, she prosecuted.
Right.
Okay.
Well, not only that, and then it was like, like Trump didn't make a whole new anomaly when I was actually there in Chicago at that Black Journalist Convention when that to see the whole thing happen.
So you're okay with him going after Kamala Harris saying she turned black? As a black man,
Yeah,
how do you
man. Like I don't think she like a lot of my like family members and all the black people I know personally that I interact with and everything. They don't really think that she's black.
Okay,
like
well,
that. I mean,
number
like,
one,
yeah,
okay, so
like, yeah,
hold on. So let's backtrack here. Number one, I don't care what people think. What I care about are facts. I respect someone's opinion if I think they deserve my respect. But with all due respect to you, her father's from Jamaica, okay? 94% of people in Jamaica consider themselves black, okay? Her father and her mother's from India. There is no...
Right.
What's the controversy there? You have Donald Trump who's saying she turned black. You can't just turn black. I'm shocked that you being black, you're not offended by that.
Well, it's because I'm offended upon how she picks and chooses when to be black. I acknowledge and I agree that she's Jamaican, so she's black, right?
When did she pick and choose that she's not black? When has she ever said in her life that she's not black? You can be proud of her.
She says she's not black. She's like, she picks and chooses different audiences. I'm Indian over here, and then I'm black over here.
You can be proud of both. You can be proud of both your heritages. You can talk about one or the other. She's never said she's not black. Okay, so she's never said she's not black before. We all agree that she's partially, biracial. And Donald Trump's comments don't bother you at all.
It's like, so like you've heard the one drop rule, right? Back in the day, the racist type of rhetoric type of scenario, right? And upon that, like, African American people are different than Nigerians or Jamaicans.
Okay, but that's irrelevant. But I understand what you're saying. But that's
but I'm saying that's the connection that black people in America, her potential voters.
Why does it bother you that Donald Trump has had the whitest administration in decades? Does that bother you at all?
I grew up around white people my whole life. I mean, in the majority, I really don't care like that. Like,
so if you if you don't care all of a sudden about Donald Trump hiring one of the whitest administrations, then why do you care if she's black or not? Can you explain that to me? And why does Donald Trump care?
Well, Donald Trump, as far as I understand, like when I was at that event, that kind of just came up upon like random shit. It's not like he just went out his way to go and speak.
No, it's not random because what does it bother you when he goes after POWs and he says he doesn't respect John McCain because he was captured? Does it bother you that he's a triple dodging the military? Does it bother you when he calls them suckers and losers? Does any of that stuff bother you?
The suckers and losers things been fact checked.
No, it hasn't. No, actually, that's not true. John Kelly and General Milley are on the record, and they still abide by their comments and what they said. So it has not been fact-checked. It's been fact-checked basically.
But there was 19 other people who did the same, though.
There were 19. There were 19 other people that may not have heard the statement, but John Kelly said that he heard the statement, and General Milley did. So if you want to discredit generals for 40, 50 years that have served this country and you believe Donald Trump, that's fine. But I'm shocked that none of this stuff bothers you. When he says, I don't respect John McCain because I respect people who weren't captured. Does that bother you at all? Or
no. I mean, it doesn't bother me like that, but it's upsetting to hear for sure. Like, I don't agree with that.
So it doesn't bother. So it doesn't necessarily. I respect the fact that you say you don't agree with it, but it doesn't necessarily bother you when he poo-poos on POWs. But it does bother you if Harris is talking about her Indian heritage in a speech, but doesn't talk about her black heritage. But that bothers you. But Donald Trump.
Well, no. That's fine. Like these, like. She stands on, like, you see the pictures and stuff, she stands on the Indian, and that's cool. I respect that 100%.
Why,
you know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with that? She's also stood on the fact that she's also black. I don't understand why that bothers you more than Donald Trump inciting an insurrection and Donald Trump saying he doesn't respect John McCain because he was captured. It sounds to me like that bothers you more that Harris put your friends in jail and yet you don't know the specifics of the cases, and that bothers you more than Donald Trump going after our democracy, going after members of our military, attacking women based on looks. That's what's confusing me, sir.
Well, here's the thing, right? Let's go with January 6th, right? I never hear anybody, even possibly, I listen to all different spectrums. I try to get as much information as possible, right?
Yeah.
And I never hear. I've heard it one time, and I haven't heard it since. What happened with the bomber the night before that put 2 pipe bombs in the Senate?
Well, I'll tell you what happened with it. They investigated it, and sometimes during investigations, they can't come up with they can't solve a crime. They haven't solved the crime, but what does that have to do with Donald Trump inciting an insurrection?
Because if that happened the night before, then how did, like, obviously it was planned. It was pre-planned.
That's a conspiracy theory. We don't know who was responsible for it, but let me ask you one question before we go, because I'm up against the clock, sir. One more quick question.
Yeah,
if Donald Trump doesn't say the election was stolen, if Donald Trump before January 6th doesn't say that Joe Biden cheated, which he didn't, and the Democrats stole the election, does January 6th happen? Yes or no?
So you're saying
if Trump didn't lie about the election, does January 6th happen? Yes or no?
No, of course not.
I appreciate the call, and that's my exact point, sir. He incited an insurrection. I appreciate you answering those questions, though. I really do. You sound like a nice guy.